Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to Misinformation in Science and Society. Here to listen, not to judge. I'm your host Annie, and today with us we have Tim Mohin. All right, so welcome. Could you please introduce yourself a little bit and what you do?
Yeah, hi, my name is Tim Mohin. I'm a partner and director at Boston Consulting Group, BCG. I have been in the climate sustainability slash ESG space for more than 30 years and continue to practice that here at Boston Consulting Group.
Yeah, so why did you choose this career initially, and what's like your favorite part of doing what you do now?
I chose my career many, many years ago because it's what I care about. It's what I'm passionate about. I've always felt that protecting people on our planet is paramount to just a healthy society and a good way of life. And I wanted to dedicate my career to that. Back in those days, it was environmental science that kind of was the way in. And you had a choice between working in government as a regulator or a activist group, a nonprofit. I chose government and I worked in the government sector for about 10 years as a regulator with EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, and in legislation in the United States Senate as well. So that's how I began my early career, but I've certainly pursued those passions and always made career choices based on where I could make the most impact throughout my long career.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, oh yeah, the second part of the question was, what's your like favorite part of doing what you do now?
My favorite part of doing what I do is when I see big impacts occur from my work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen all the time. You have to lead through influence, and a lot of times, it can be a struggle. But there are those times when you can actually see the results of your work in terms of improvement, environmental and social, which I find to be incredibly rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Um, why do you think truth is like so important? And why do you think misinformation is like such a big issue right now?
Yeah, it's almost like a question that answers itself. I mean, without truth, we have nothing to hold on to. I think that as I was trained as a scientist, the entirety of the scientific method is to find the right answer, the truth. And, we have based our entire society on technological advances, scientific advances that are scientifically oriented. And so if we sort of lose track of what is real and what is not, we've lost it all. And so it's super important to uh, rely on science, rely on fact, and then build policy from that fact. And so it's fundamental, is all I can say.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so misinformation, it's like a pretty big issue, like especially right now. Um, why do you think that is the case? Is there like, does technology have to do with it? Yeah, what do you think about like technology and the impact on misinformation?
Yeah, so misinformation is not new. It's been around for many, many years.
Hmm.
I think in many times of conflict, we've seen misinformation used to vilify others. I think that these days, with the advent of the internet and social media, we're seeing the proliferation of misinformation at a rate that's never been seen before. And that's quite troubling because let's face it, when you see information, you sort of do trust it implicitly as human beings, we sort of trust, and yet a lot of it is wrong because it has a particular bias or whatever. And so I think it's very, very dangerous and can lead people to the wrong conclusions. And when you think about it, it's really not fair to the consumer of this information because we can't all be experts in everything. So how do you judge what is true and what is not? Is a difficult thing. And these days in the internet age, it's becoming more and more difficult. So I don't have the answers. I just know that having been around before the internet and after the internet, it's quite interesting to watch how misinformation is proliferated at an outstanding rate right now.
Hmm. So, what is something that's done in your field that I guess like what do people like in your field try to do to like tackle or avoid misinformation or like the spread of like mis and disinformation?
I think comes back to what we were saying before, which is uh, truth is based on facts. Facts are based on evidence. Evidence is based on research. It all comes back to the scientific method. If we challenge things, and we certainly should challenge things, you have to go back to the root of the assertion. Where did those facts come from? Are they based on research that can be replicated and checked? Then we have a basis for truth. But again, most people don't have that background or knowledge and won't seek to do that. And so in everyday parlance, what I look for is references. Can this be traced? If I feel that those references are real, then I have much more confidence in the information.
Mm, yeah, that also answers the other questions of like what like a regular person in daily life can do um to make sure they get the right information. Um, so yeah, those are all my questions about misinformation. So just for fun, like Um, what inspires you in life? Like, is there a person, idea, book, etc.?
I'm inspired by many things, actually. I'm inspired by people like yourself, young people who want to make the world better, who will, take over as the next generation assumes leadership positions, and also understand the difference between truth and misinformation. Because again, in my generation, we didn't have the internet or social media. You grew up with it. And so it's just a different paradigm. But the truly inspiring thing is to see young people that are seeking a better world, coming up in this new paradigm, understanding how information can be used and misused, that will then assume the reins of power. So that does give me hope for the future. So thank you.
Thank you. And just to close this out, do you have any advice for people, especially teens? Um, can be about like anything, information or not, and life advice, anything.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I gave a commencement address a few years ago. It's on my LinkedIn page. It's full of advice, but I'll sort of sum it up by just saying that, be good at something. We all have different passions and different personalities, and those tend to manifest in a certain way professionally. Find that niche that gives you not necessarily follow your passion, but gives you professional satisfaction. Like when you get up and go to the work in the morning, do you feel eager to do it or you feel dread? Find
Mm.
that eagerness that keeps you going. And then once you get there, look for opportunities to leverage your core competencies to do good in the world. So don't go in with some amorphous idea. Go in with an angular idea. I'm good at something. I want to be the best at that thing, and then expand that core competency into doing good for the world.
Yeah, thank you for that. And thank you for this opportunity to for me to speak with you. Yeah, thank you.
It was my pleasure. I hope it was useful for you and for
Sure.
your audience.
Mm-hmm. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Take care. Bye bye.